What you are about to witness has never been documented before. Not in 30 years of wildlife photography, not in any research journal, not in any conservation field report. What happened in the Limpopo Valley in the spring of 2022 broke every rule nature ever wrote, and it started with a dog. His name was Kodak, a 3-year-old Siberian Husky with pale blue eyes and a coat the color of winter smoke. He belonged to a bushranger named Dario, a South African wildlife keeper who had worked the reserve for over a decade. Dario was a quiet man, sun-worn, the kind of man who spoke more to animals than to people. He trusted Kodak with his life out there, and more than once, Kodak had earned it. The Limpopo bush in late June is a dry, ancient thing. The fever trees stand stripped and golden, the red soil cracks like old pottery. The air smells of dust and wild sage, and at dawn, a thin mist rolls off the river and swallows the world for exactly 12 minutes before the sun burns it away. It is beautiful the way a scar is beautiful, quietly, and only if you know what it cost. It was in that mist on a Thursday morning that Kodak found them. Dario heard the barking first, not aggressive, not warning, something else, short, urgent, repeating. He followed the sound through the Jesse bush, pushing through low acacia scrub until he stopped dead in the path. There, in a shallow drainage ditch, were 2 creatures he had only ever seen in photographs from captive breeding programs. 2 albino cubs, 1 lion, 1 tiger, both barely 4 weeks old. Their white fur was damp and matted with red clay. Their pink eyes were half sealed. They were not moving much, but they were alive. The mother was not. A poaching snare 20 meters back told the rest of the story. Someone had been after something else. The mothers had paid the price for someone else's greed. Kodak was already in the ditch. Dario called out to pull him back, expecting the worst, but Kodak did not snarl or circle. He lowered his entire body flat to the ground and pressed his muzzle gently against the lion cub's side. Then he looked up at Dario with those pale blue eyes, as if to say, "I found them. Now what are you going to do?" What Dario did was break protocol. He radioed no one. He drove no one in. He wrapped the cubs in his jacket, put them in the back seat of the Land Cruiser, and let Kodak sit between them the whole 40 minutes back to the station. The cubs should not have survived the first night. They were dehydrated, hypothermic, and without maternal scent, disoriented in a way that young cats rarely recover from. Dario boiled water for warmth. He fed them through a syringe every 2 hours. He slept on the floor of the storeroom beside them, and Kodak never left. By the 3rd day, the cubs were nursing from a bottle. By the 2nd week, they were fighting over Kodak's tail. He let them. He groomed them with the long, slow licks of an animal that understood on some cellular level that these creatures needed to feel claimed by something. He was their anchor, their warmth, their first understanding of what safety felt like. Dario named the lion cub Frost. The tiger he called Ghost. They grew fast the way wild things do when they feel safe. Ghost was the bold one, always the first to test a boundary, bat at a water bowl, attempts to climb Dario's leg. Frost was quieter, more watchful, with a dignity that seemed too old for his body. But together, they moved like they had known each other since before they were born. And at the center of everything was Kodak, patient and present, his thick tail always within reach. 6 months passed, then a year. The reserve director, a woman named Dr. Lena Furi, had known about the cubs from month 2, but had allowed Dario to continue under strict observation. By 18 months, Frost and Ghost were magnificent, white as snow against the ochre bush, their pink eyes catching light like pale fire. They could not be released fully wild. They were too visible, too vulnerable to human threat. But the reserve had land, and Dario had a plan. He began walking them further each week, first to the river, then beyond it, teaching them the smells of the territory, the sounds, the difference between a safe wind and one that carries danger. Kodak walked with them every step, and it was something extraordinary to see, A husky and two white big cats moving through the African bush together, single file, like something from a dream that the landscape was having about itself. Then came the day that tested it all. 14 months into the rehabilitation, 3 men cut the eastern fence line at night. Poachers. They had heard about the albino animals through a network that trades in rare wildlife. They came armed and they came quietly. The motion sensors caught them. Daria was a full kilometer away. It was Kodak who heard them first. The sound Kodak made was nothing like barking. It was lower. It was a sound that woke both cats from a dead sleep. Within seconds, Frost and Ghost were on their feet, and what happened in the next 4 minutes was captured on the reserve's infrared cameras and has since been watched over 11 million times online. The 3 men reached the inner enclosure. They raised their lights, and they froze. Frost came out of the dark first, slow, silent, enormous, 220 pounds of white lion, utterly calm, utterly still. Then Ghost appeared to the left, then Kodak between them, standing straight, blue eyes luminous in the infrared. The men dropped their equipment. They ran. Reserve security arrested all 3 at the outer fence line less than 8 minutes later. Each one was charged. Each one was convicted. The footage was used in court. Daria watched the verdict from the reserve. Kodak was asleep across his boots. Frost and Ghost were somewhere in the long grass, doing what they had always done, existing beautifully in a world that had tried to take them out of it twice, and failed both times. Justice out here does not always wear a robe and carry a gavel. Sometimes it has pale blue eyes and a white coat, and it walks out of the dark at exactly the right moment. If this story moved you the way it moved us, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this one only reach the people who need them because of you.